So before we get started, check out the following links in the description box below as highlighted in the image shown. So you'll be able to get our past papers, our link to our official website, link to accreditations, our link to donation page, and contact details in the description. So once you'll be watching a certain video of any lesson or of any past paper, you'll be able to get all these links, and you can be able to get to download past papers, to reach to our official website. You'll be able to see links to our accreditations so that you can see which authorities have accredited us. You'll be able to reach to our donation page as well as our contact details.
Welcome back to another lesson. We continue with our revision series, and in this video we are going to look at an exam that was done in December 2022, and our focus shall be on question number 3. And we begin with question number 3A, which says outline 4 functions of a finance manager. We want to see what are the functions of the finance manager. The fundamental functions of a finance manager is to develop financial strategies. So developing financial strategies. Here we say that a finance manager creates and manages strategies, for the financial success of the company. Another role or functions of a finance manager is overseeing investment activities. Here we say that a finance manager oversee investment and capital projects. Oversee investment and capital projects. Capital projects are those projects that will bring returns in the long run. The third role of finance manager is analyzing financial data. Here we say that a finance manager will analyze financial data to identify the trends and opportunities. The trends and opportunities for investment The fourth role of, or the fourth functions of finance manager is managing finances. Here we say that a finance manager is saying that finance manager will manage the finances of the organization, will manage finances of the organization, manage finances of the organization. This include preparing financial statements, financial statements, and budgeting. So basically, those are the major roles of a finance manager. As we have said, the first and the most fundamental role of a finance manager, or the functions of the finance manager, is developing financial strategies. And here we are saying that as a manager in the finance department, he is responsible with the strategies that are there to make financial success to the company. We have mentioned the second one is overseeing investment. Here he has to be conversant with capital projects and other investment that the company intend to do. We have also said that he is responsible for analyzing financial data. Financial data, in this case, he has to be conversant with the trends and the opportunities that the company can enable the company to grow. And lastly, we have said that the finance manager is there to manage finances of the organization. Part B, you are told explain 4 chronological steps of dividends payment process. We want to say how are dividends being declared until when it is issued to the shareholders. So we are looking at the dividends payment process. The first step with the dividend payment process is called declaration. Declaration here means that the board of directors of a company, declare a dividend payment, with associated amount and payment dates. With associated amounts and payment dates. So that is the first step when it comes to dividend payment. The board of directors will declare that yes, they have dividends. The second step is record date. This is to declare that those people who are within or the registered shareholders by this particular time, they are the one who are going to receive the dividends. This is called book closure date. Book closure date. Here we say that is a date established. A date is established by the board of directors which determines who is eligible to receive dividends. Which determines who is eligible to receive dividends. So that if you are a shareholder past this date, it therefore means you are not eligible. The third step is the payment date. Payment date here is that on the payment date, the dividend is made to the shareholder. On the payment date, the dividends are paid to the shareholders. And last step is called reinvestment. Reinvestment, here we say that some companies allow shareholders to reinvest. Some companies allow shareholders to reinvest the dividends payment into additional shares. To reinvest the dividends payment into additional shares of the company, into additional shares of the company stock, or additional shares into the company. So basically, those are the major steps when it comes to declaration of dividends. Yeah, we are saying the first step here is that or the steps when it comes to issue or receiving the dividends. We are saying that the first step is the board of directors to declare that that they have dividends to pay, and once they declare that, then they have to set the record date or the book closure date. This is the date where if you come or become a shareholder past this date, you are not entitled to receive dividends. And that step is the payment. And finally, they allow the shareholders who have interest of or who do not want to receive the dividends, they can reinvest for additional shares into the company. Good. Now we move on to question number 3C, and it reads, Makupa Limited intends to invest 32,000 in a project which is expected to generate the following cash flows. The first year is 15 million, second year is 10 million, third year is 9 million, and fourth year 8 million. The expected scrap value at the end of the fourth year is 4 million, and the cost of capital for the company is 14%. You are told calculate the internal rate of return. Now, you see, IRR is basically trial and errors. We are going to look at a rate that is higher, that is going to give us negative NPVs. Then we look at a rate that is going to give us positive NPVs. Then we use our formula to find the IRR. Remember, the IRR is the rate at which the net present values are 0. Therefore, it will require us to do some computation. Let's first get NPV at 14% that has been provided here. We see how much shall be, we use the cost of capital as 14% and check how much shall be the net present value. So let's use 14%. test with 14% and check whether we are going to have a positive or a negative NPVs. So here we shall have the year, and then we shall have cash flows. Then we shall have PVIFs at 14%, and then we have present values. The first one is 15 million. 14% first year, it's 1 over 1.14. This gives us 0.8772, and the present values here, we multiply 15 million by 0.8772, so that we are getting 13,158,000. We move on to the second year. If you look at the question here, the cash flows for the second year is 10 million. We shall have our 10 million here. We look at the present value interest factor, 14% in the second year. You shall be provided with the financial tables. If it is not provided, just take 1 divided by 1.14 squared. So here you shall have 0.7695. Multiply these two, and it shall give you 7,695,000. We go to the third year. The cash flows in the third year is 9 million. We look at the PVIFs, present value interest factor at 14%. Third year, 0.6750. Get the product of these two, and you shall have 6,075,000. Last, we have the fourth year. We shall have the cash flows in the fourth year is 12 million. No, it's 8 million. Let me see. Cash flows in the third year is 8 million. We shall have 8 million here. Let me check here. This is 8 million. Multiply this one by PVIFs at 0.5921, and this shall give you 7,105,200. Add the two. When you add these two, add all of it, this gives you that 4,033,200. We less initial investment, less initial investment, which is that 2 million, and then we shall have our PVIFs, or the net present value here shall be 2,033,033, but it's positive. Yeah, here this one is positive. So we test the one that is going to give us negative. Let's test at 28% then. Double this. Yeah, let's test at 28%. Let's test at 28%. At 28%, we still have year. Then here we have here. Then we have, this is cash flows. Then PVIFs, and then we shall have PVs. We have year 1, 2, 3, 4. The cash flows are 15 million, 10 million, 9 million, and 8 million. Yeah. Then we look at the present values will remain the same. Yeah, no, the present values will change because now this is 28%. 28% we shall have 0.7813, 0.6104, 0.4768, and finally 0.3725. When you multiply this to get the present values here, you have 11,719,500. The next one is 6,104,000. This one, multiply these two, is going to give you 4,291,200. And then here you are going to have 4,470,000. When you add all this, gives you 26,584,700. Subtract our initial investment, that 2 million, and this will give us negative 5,415,300. Now, if you want to test your IRR, we use our formula where we are going to look at the lower rate which NPV is positive. So our IRR, the lower rate which is positive is 14%, plus we look at the NPVs, positive NPVs were here. This is 2,300,000, 2,300,000, 2,13,200, divide by the sum of these two, add this, ignoring the sign, this plus this one, it's going to give you 7 million. This one is going to give you 7,448,000. 400 and this 4,048,500 multiplied by the difference in rate, that is 28% minus 14%. So when you work out this one, you find that your IRR is 17.82%. This means if you discount using 17.82%, you are going to find that the NPVs shall be 0. Then you are told, advise the management on whether to invest in the project or not based on your answer above. So you see the NPVs is positive. So you can advise the management that management of Makupa Limited, should invest in the project, since the internal rate of return IRR rate of return exceeds its cost of capital. You can see the cost of capital is 14%, but IRR is 17.82%. Therefore, it's advisable for the management to invest in this project. Lastly, you are asked, highlight 2 advantages of using internal rate of return to appraise investment project. So, what are the advantages of IRR? 1, time value of money. Time value of money is being considered when calculating IRR. when calculating IRR. Second advantage is that it is simple to interpret. After the IRR is calculated. The IRR is calculated. And lastly, we can add more and say it is easy to visualize by manager. And we can say that another advantage is that managers make rough estimate of required rate of return. We can even say that no requirement of no requirements of finding handle rate no requirement of finding required rate of return. So basically, those are some of the advantages of using IRR. We are saying that one, it considers the time value of money. It's also simple to interpret after the IRR is calculated. And lastly, we can talk of easy to visualize by the manager. So basically, that is how you are to answer this question for you to obtain the maximum marks that are allowed in this exam. Otherwise, we are going to stop there. Further readings, you can check the notes that are provided to you and other examples that we have shared on our website. It's goodbye for now.
So if you like this video, you can always enroll with us. You'll be able to access more of these revision sessions. And also you'll be able to find well done lectures or pre-recorded videos for all the KASNEB courses as well as CHRP. And in case of anything, you can always reach us out. We have our contact details on the screen. Feel free to call, feel free to WhatsApp anytime. So thank you, and let's meet in our next session.